So how are you ever going to put this behind you if you do nothing but sit around feeling sorry for yourself for the stuff that you've done?
CSR, we're prepared to go forward. I'd like to highlight the fact that Mr. Yax has no prior felonies. We acknowledge that he has a prior record, but no prior felonies. At the time of his arrest, I think as you can see through the video, he was going through a very difficult time. His mother had passed. He was dealing with custody issues with his 11-year-old daughter. But he's maintained employment throughout. He's working now, submitted clean urine screens, went through treatment at Mark. I think he's been proactive in taking measures to right the ship here. We'd ask the court to consider community control sanctions. I'd ask you to also consider the documentation that was submitted on Mr. Yax's behalf. And he's got his counselors in the courtroom would like to be heard as well.
All right, who do you want to go first?
The counselor, please.
Hello, my name is Larry Mateka. My wife and I run the Draft Horse Project. It's called out in Geauga County. It's a therapy farm that does all kinds of therapy, including equine therapy as well as life consulting, life coaching. And we do a lot of work for Geauga County courts. Jeremy and his daughter Anna have been coming to the farm for quite a while. His daughter gets the horse therapy while Jeremy and I do the coaching and the consulting. And I just wanted to just share a few things because I think Jeremy's just done a really good job. I think he's taken responsibility. I think he's starting out a little bit more in the victim mode, and I think as time's gone on, I think he's really started to take responsibility, realizing the mistakes he's made, the cost of those mistakes, the risk of those mistakes, especially, he's taking care of a little girl, and I feel like he's doing a good job of it. We love Anna. We work with her a lot at the farm. I think Jeremy's figuring some things out. Maybe a little late in life, but he is figuring some things out and some things he needs to do differently. I've been really impressed with his learning in time that we've had together and the amount that he's learned. So I just think it would be such a shame if he had to do time in any way and had to be away from his daughter. It's just we're at a critical time here that we're making a lot of progress. And probably in summary, he's a good man, and that's what I've come to learn. We've spent a lot of hours together, and I think he's trying to do the right thing. So just wanted to share that.
All right, thank you. Mr. Yax, what do you want to tell me before I impose sentence?
Nothing.
Well, that's unusual.
I've gone through so many court dates, so many. I just want to
What do you mean you've gone through so many court dates?
Well, with this thing alone, I went to Wycliffe 6 times. I've been here multiple times. The whole process, calling off work.
Are we inconveniencing you?
No, you're not.
Sounds like it.
No, not at all. It's just this has opened the door to the mother of my child's here. She's hoping that I go to jail because it's going to open the door for her to move forward with. I've had custody of my daughter since she's 14 months old.
Okay.
And this has opened the door to so many other things.
Who opened the door? You say this. What do you mean?
I opened the door.
Right.
I did this.
Okay.
And I'm just ready to move forward in life. I would just like this to be past tense in my life. I'd like to move forward. I'm sick of being stuck, like spinning my wheels in the mud. I'm ready to move forward in life.
I don't know what that means. What does that mean, move forward in life?
I'm ready to move beyond where I'm at now.
Where are you at now?
I feel like I'm stuck, just in life in general.
Why?
Because I made a huge mistake, and that's been months and months and months ago, and I'm still dealing with the consequences now. I've gone months. I was under bond. My bond conditions were no driving. Well, I'm a professional driver. That's how I make it.
Well, God damn it, you're driving under the influence, and you got drugs, and you're complaining because your bond condition was no driving? Am I hearing that right?
I'm not complaining. I'm just saying the situation.
You're complaining. You know, Mr. Matejka indicated that you've made a lot of progress. If that's true, I'd hate to see where you were when you started this shit, okay? Because you're a commercial driver, right? Right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. You got a lousy driving record, by the way, but you're still a commercial driver. And so you got drugs, you use drugs, you get in your car, and you get stopped. And boy, do you come across as being put upon, having to go through all this stuff. That's how you came across during the trial, and the pre-trial. That's how you come across right now. Woe is Jeremy. So how are you ever going to put this behind you if you do nothing but sit around feeling sorry for yourself for the stuff that you've done? Explain that to me. And then I ask you what you have to say, and you say nothing. You don't have the slightest clue where you're at, do you?
I do know where I'm at. I'm going to drug rehab. I completed that. I went through the child custody. I completed that. I did all the requirements of Geauga County, Ashtabula County. It's all completed. I understand I messed up. I don't think it should be a life sentence.
Well, I'm pretty sure that you're not going to leave here with me imposing a life sentence. I'm pretty sure of that. So knock off the nonsense, okay? Knock off, because that still communicates to me that you're sitting there feeling sorry for yourself. And that's all it is. How are you going to get by, as you state, how are you going to get past what happened if you don't think any of this stuff was your fault? You're just a victim of circumstance.
I don't think that, sir. This is totally my fault. No one made me go buy them drugs. I did it. I did it. I bought them. Not where I was at, where I got pulled over. I just happened to be in the same spot that they think it's a drug house, or it is a drug house. It was just happened to be a coincidence that I was there. I wasn't buying the drugs from him.
What were you doing there?
I was returning a chainsaw to him.
Okay.
Something I borrowed from him. I was only there a couple minutes, 10, 15 minutes.
Then where'd you get the drugs?
I got them from Geauga County at my mother's house where I was working. It wasn't even supposed to be crack what I was getting. It was supposed to be Adderall, but that's what he gave me. And
There's no visible difference between crack and Adderall?
it's totally different. Yes, there is.
Okay,
Yes.
so it wasn't a mistake. Listen to me. Who had drugs at your mother's house?
His name is Benny Blakely.
And what was he doing at your mother's house?
He was helping me work on trees over there. We were cutting them down, moving them out of the way.
And that's you were shocked that Benny had crack, right?
He was supposed to give me Adderall.
Okay.
But
So
he
you
gave me
know
crack
that
instead.
you know that Benny deals in drugs, right?
I do.
Okay. And so you went there to get Adderall, and he gave you crack. And apparently you've never seen crack before, right?
Years ago I did.
Okay. So when he gave you crack, when you wanted Adderall, you just thought, well, what the hell, I'll take the crack.
Yes, I guess.
Okay. So what was the point of getting Adderall from Benny?
Well, I took Adderall, I don't know, to be awake. There was so much going on. I was cleaning out my mother's house. I was working a full-time job. The crack just happened. No, it didn't just happen. I received the crack. I was supposed to get Adderall. He gave me the crack instead. I was returning a chainsaw to Richard Thomas's house. He is a known tree guy. Yes, he is. We tried out the crack at his house. I had no way to smoke the crack. I didn't have the pipe. I didn't have the other stuff to go with it.
The good thing you were at Richard's house then, because he's a drug dealer, right?
Richard's been my friend for,
Okay, but they're sitting on that house because there's narcotic sales going in and out of that house, right? That's why they were there.
I did not know that.
I don't believe you. I mean, you're the worst victim of circumstances I've ever seen in my life. That Sluga is happened to sit on that house because it's a drug house. You happen to go in and out of that house, like everybody else buying drugs goes in and out of that house, and he happened to stop you because you just happened to be returning a chainsaw. Unbelievable, as in not believable. So getting back to the beginning of this thing, you want to put this all behind you and move on, and you can't tell me one bit of the truth. Not one bit.
Sir, it is the truth.
Okay.
I smoked the crack at Richard's house, but I didn't buy it from him. When the officer walked up to my window, he wanted me to make a deal with a wire in the house and whatever. Everything else was recorded besides that. I didn't buy the crack from Richard. I got the crack from Benny Blake.
Okay. How long have you been using drugs, illicit drugs?
I went 20 years without using nothing. I've been a professional driver going on 20 years. Random drug testing. I've always been in a drug pool. I haven't failed a drug test ever until around this time.
Okay. And so how long have you held a commercial driver's license?
20 years.
Okay. And how long has it been since you used crack?
I never used crack until April.
Well, you told me that you had used it years ago. About 10 minutes ago you told me.
Cocaine. I used cocaine.
Okay.
The same thing, right?
Yes, it is the same thing.
I did not smoke it until just recently.
Okay. When did you use cocaine before this?
When I was a kid, 20 years ago. I've been completely sober for 20 years. Not completely, no, that's a lie. I did use alcohol. I quit drinking 5 years ago. I passed every single drug test ever in the last 20 years. Until just recently, around in April, I failed a couple drug tests.
What kind of drug tests were you taking in the last 20 years?
I was in a random drug pool for being a professional driver.
So how often were you drug tested in the last 20 years?
I would say a minimum of at least 50 times.
And who was doing the tests?
Arms Trucking, AJ's. I worked for Western Express. It was all random. I'm randomly drug tested by Columbus. Any commercial driver is in a random drug pool.
And what you list AJ's transportation from 8/8 of 14 to present. Is that who you're working for?
Yes, sir.
Yourself?
I'm an owner-operator.
So during that time period, in the last 11 years, who makes you show up for a random drug test?
I'm in the multiple drug pools.
Okay. Who?
For Arms Trucking, Sumer Health is where I'm at now for AJ's.
Who's Arms Trucking?
Arms Trucking is a trucking company that I'm a broker for out of East Clarendon.
Okay. So they give you notice to show up somewhere to take a test.
Yes.
And where do you show up to take a test?
They have a mobile medical lab that comes to the office. And if your name's pulled, you go take the test.
Where did you go to drug treatment?
I went to Ashtabula, the Donahoe Center. It's on Route 20.
What'd you do there?
I went to treatment. I went to my,
What kind of treatment?
I had a drug assessment, and I went to the treatment that was recommended.
Okay. So what was the treatment that was recommended?
Drug awareness.
What does that mean?
You go to a class, and they tell you about the drugs and the consequences that it happens.
Well, you already know what the consequences are, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So you went to how many classes?
12?
Once a week?
Yes.
Okay. How long were the classes?
2.5 hours?
And what else did you do?
In the class, or
In that program?
it was random drug testing
Okay.
in the classes.
What do you have from LARC, Cindy?
Karen, I have a certificate of completion for a substance abuse program from LARC. I have a letter from LARC that states his attendance at a substance abuse group, which is 1.5 hours long for 12 sessions. And then I also have an integrated service plan from LARC.
What's the plan?
Integrated service plan is for the defendant to have his daughter back, come back home, get back to work, and live a normal life. They set up some objectives to do that through Ashtabula Children's Services.
Why were they involved?
Ashtabula Children's Services?
Yeah.
So there was a case plan put in place by Geauga County. Ashtabula County, I believe, is where Mr. Yachts resides. Or why was Ashtabula County involved? I don't know specifically, Your Honor, I'm sorry.
What about it?
Well, when there was drugs involved, my aunt filed for emergency custody of my daughter, and they opened a case plan.
Geauga County did.
Ashtabula County.
Ashtabula County. And what's Geauga County got to do with it?
Because there's been an ongoing case going on 11 years for a custody. I had had custody of my daughter since she was 14 months old.
Okay. So this sounds like a rather surfacey drug treatment situation from LARC, okay? Which tells me one thing, which tells me that you kind of minimized your involvement with drugs and alcohol, and they fashioned a plan based on your minimization. That's what that tells me.
They asked me in my assessment a bunch of questions exact same way. I really don't know. I did the assessment.
Right. The assessment's only as good as the information you give the assessor, right?
Well, I've been through,
I mean, garbage in, garbage out, right?
I've had multiple assessments throughout the years.
Where else have you had an assessment?
I'm not really, Geauga County, Ravenwood. I had one there for, when I was in custody of my daughter. I went to anger management. I've gone to parenting classes. I've gone to,
Talking about, you said assessments. I'm talking about drug and alcohol assessments.
that was at Ravenwood.
When?
Within the last 11 years. I couldn't give you the exact date.
So why does somebody who played around with cocaine 20 years ago suddenly start taking cocaine this spring? I mean, first of all, before you answer that, did you have a really good experience with cocaine 20 years ago?
No, I did not.
Okay, so now 20 years later, you're buying Adderall from whatever the hell the guy's name was, because you regularly buy Adderall from the guy, right?
I didn't regularly, no.
Well, how often did you?
My relapse on drugs was very short-lived. I want to say it was just a couple months.
So for a couple months, you've been buying Adderall?
Yes.
Okay. And what, to do what? To accomplish what?
There was just so much going on. I was cleaning out my mother's house. I was running a business. I was a full-time father. There's only so many hours in the day, and I was tired. The Adderall kept me awake.
So, did you get hooked on Adderall?
I believe I did, yes.
And so then this character who sells you Adderall illegally produces out of the blue crack cocaine, and you think, I had a really shitty experience with cocaine 20 years ago, I think I'll try it again. Is that right?
No, it wasn't like that.
What was it like?
I gave him the money for Adderall, and he produced the cocaine.
And then what?
I took it.
No, you didn't take it. You took it, put it in your pocket, took it to the other guy with the chainsaw, took it to his house, and smoked it there. Isn't that what you told me?
Yes.
Okay. So, what did you say? Whatever your name is, where's the Adderall? I wanted Adderall. I need the Adderall. I need the Adderall to stay awake. Where's the Adderall?
It didn't go that far, sir.
Well, how
I
far
took the
did it go?
drugs.
How far did it go?
Into my pocket.
And then you immediately left.
Not immediately, no.
Okay. And so how long were you there before you left?
An hour and a half.
So an hour and a half later you leave. You don't have any apparatus to smoke the crack, right?
I did not.
Okay. And so it just happened to be that you had the chainsaw that had to go over to somebody's house, and you knew that he was a drug dealer, that he would have the apparatus to smoke the crack, right?
I did not know he was a drug dealer. Richard Thomas, I worked with him in Imperial Tree. I worked with him on and off. I knew he smoked crack, yes, I did. I did know that. I did not know he was a drug dealer.
Okay.
So I'm not saying that.
How am I supposed to sentence somebody who can't? I mean, I'm supposed to sentence somebody based on a bunch of factors, which include, since you don't have a felony before, rehabilitation, primarily rehabilitation. How am I supposed to fashion a plan for rehabilitation if you can't tell me the goddamn truth? How am I supposed to do that? Am I supposed to guess, pull out my crystal ball, and figure out what the truth is? How am I supposed to do that?
Sir, I'm telling you the truth.
No, you're not. You can't even tell me the truth about telling me the truth.
Richard Thomas has been my friend for numerous years.
Maybe you need new friends. If you knew the guy was a crack addict, why is your friend a crack addict?
That's his life choices.
Okay. Well, it's your life choice to hang around with the crack addict, right? Maybe you got a bad circle of friends. You don't view it that, obviously you don't view it that way.
You know, all this has gone on. I removed everyone from my house because the drugs were kind of at my house, per se.
What does that mean?
These
Drugs
people,
were, the drugs were kinda at my house per se. What does that mean? Drugs don't just walk into your house, okay? People who have drugs go into your house, and that's how the drugs get into your house. And you're letting people take drugs into your house for some reason. Somebody who doesn't use drugs is letting people who use drugs bring drugs into your house.
okay, sir, my mom died. I have little sisters that are exposed to a bunch of bad people. I opened my door to these people, trying to help my sisters. Since then, I've been in trouble. I removed all them people from my house. Here, I have no, I followed everything the court has asked me to do with my child. I'm trying to follow all the recommendations to all the courts. Here we are today, and I've done very, very hard to move forward from the situation that I'm in. With that said,
Okay, that doesn't answer my question.
can you repeat the question?
Yeah, the question was, why are you letting people you know have drugs into your house? That's how the drugs got into your house. So why did you let that happen knowing it was going on? If you didn't use drugs until Adderall guy produced crack instead.
That was my sister's boyfriend.
Where was your sister?
After my mom died, I let her stay at my house. After JFS was involved, I removed all them people from my house.
So what exactly is it that you need to accomplish on probation? Explain that to me. I mean, you're the one asking for probation, right?
Yes.
So to accomplish what?
I have to provide somewhere for my daughter to live. So I'm gonna have to work and be able to provide her a home to stay in. If I go to jail, which my house is already in foreclosure,
If you're making $300,000 a year, why is your house in foreclosure?
so it sounds like a big amount of money until you pay all your expenses, your fuel, your insurance, your breakdowns. When I was arrested, I know we're going back to my bond conditions were no driving. That's how I make my living, is driving a semi. I'm a professional driver. I went 2 months without working at all, with still paying all the business expenses, the payments on the trucks, the insurance. I went all summer not driving my truck. I just been recently put back in my truck.
For a good reason.
Yes, sir, for good reason. I'm still trying to keep the business going. I'm a mediator for the foreclosure, which I'm going to hopefully keep my house. So, with your question asking why should I be on probation and why I'm asking for it, is because I understand I broke the law, but I got the snowball effect on everything. I know I did it, I'm responsible of it, but I want to move forward in life and not be stuck, like I said.
Written version taken from the pre-sentence questionnaire. And I don't have any idea what you're talking about. What is it you were trying to communicate in that written version?
You remember filling out the forms for probation? That's what he's talking about.
With the pre-sentencing for the probation officer,
Yeah.
she asked me a bunch of questions and I just gave her answers.
All right. Ms. Mulligan?
Only because this is the defendant's first felony, and it is a felony of the 5th degree. The state's recommending community control.
Why is it that your driving record is so bad? Never mind. You had a physical control in 2020, June of 2020. What was that all about?
I left the bar had a few drinks, and I was under the legal limit for a normal driver. I know that I'm saying poor me, but it wasn't poor me. With a CDL, you're only allowed at .02.
Okay. So if your CDL is so important to you, what are you doing in the bar and then driving? If your CDL is so important to you, why are you smoking crack and then driving? Why is that? That doesn't make one bit of sense to me. Why?
Well, I guess it's because I didn't consider the consequence.
So in 20, you suffer a consequence because you get a physical control, which I'm assuming apparently didn't have any impact on your ability to keep a commercial driver's license, but it probably had an effect on your insurance rate, right? Right?
It did.
Okay, so why didn't you think of the consequence when you smoked crack and got in the car?
I'm unsure how to answer that, sir.
Well, why don't you give me an answer that sort of is truthful and makes sense?
Well, I did it, so
Well, let me ask you this. You went over to Chainsaw Guy's house and smoked some crack, right? Right?
I did. I took one hit.
In one hit. I only had 2 beers. I only took 1 hit. Okay. So,
Well, the test levels showed you how much I had in my system.
I don't care. I don't care what the test level is. Okay, I don't really, that is the most inconsequential statement you've made so far today, among a lot of them. Okay, I don't care what the level was. So when you got caught by the police after you only took 1 hit of crack, what did they find on you?
They found the remaining crack.
Okay, why did you have the remaining crack with you? And what were you going to do with it?
Well, had it because I was taking it home with me,
Okay, why?
because it was mine.
Okay, what were you going to do with it?
Well, I probably would have finished it.
Probably?
I would have finished it.
Right. With what? You didn't have any apparatus to smoke crack. You didn't have.
I did not.
What were you, how were you going to smoke it then?
I guess I would have found the utensils,
What utensils?
the ones I didn't have.
Like what? How would you smoke crack if you don't have a pipe?
Well, I guess I would have figured out a way.
Well, what would you have figured out?
You smoking on tinfoil.
How do
There's
you know
lots of ways
that?
to do it.
How do you know that?
Because I asked Rich. I didn't have the stuff to do it with. I would have.
I know you didn't have it. You told me you didn't have the stuff to do it with it. I'm asking you, then why did you take it with you? Why didn't you leave it with Rich? How much did you pay for that other guy, Adderall guy? How much you pay for that crap?
$50.
$50. Okay. How much were you going to pay him for the Adderall?
I prepaid him. He gave me the crap instead of the Adderall.
You
So-
prepaid him what?
$50.
It's like you're trying to talk yourself into a prison sentence. Because you can't be honest about anything. I know you're going to tell me you are being honest, okay? And then I'll tell you, no, you're not, okay? So I have a real problem here with you. And my problem with you is you're a first-time felon, a third-time, fourth-time OVI guy over your lifetime, okay? And the applicable statutes of the revised code tell me that essentially I have to put you on probation. Yet, I'm wondering to accomplish what? Because you're cured. I mean, you're fine. The only condition you need for probation is to go to work. Because everything else is good, because you went to that LARC, which is a lark, okay, and got some half-assed treatment. And so I'm supposed to do nothing, according to you. Okay? So I'm not sentencing you today. I'm continuing this sentencing, and I'm going to send you for a psychological evaluation. And then we're going to come back after I get that report, and I'm going to